Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back at the Varsity Field number 4, and it is Sunday LMS cricket in Bloemfontein, and we have the Pumas facing the CPI Hotshots. We have the Pumas facing the CPI Hotshots. And we've got players now approaching, just moving a little bit closer. You can see them better. There you go. I think that is enough. Moving in a little bit closer, a bit of a challenge for a phone. Yet who's going to the toss? Coming over. There was talks of which didn't happen. We haven't got the layover yet because the match hasn't started yet. But then, in any case, let's look at the teams playing. It looks like the Pumas are at the stumps. It is the umpire for today will be Moapi, and the team of Pumas derives of. There was a change, by the way. Duncan Bolton will be playing for Baden, and there's Devon du Plessis, Edouan Coetzee, Johnny du Plessis, Kyle McKay, Maas Khan, Marco van Jaarsveld, and Wilmar Esterhuizen. And we've got they will be facing the CPI Hotshots, and there we've got the legendary Clinton Diakos, Dylan Francis, Franco Pretorius, Hanko Swigelaar, Henry Venter, Johan Barend, my mistake, Johan Barnard, sorry Johan, JP Hunt, and Werner Rembold. Now, if you look at it's two experienced team where the Pumas, between them all, the whole team, they've got 527 matches under their belt against the CPI Hotshots with 665 matches between them. So we've got a lot of experience in between these two teams, and we're supposed to get an exciting match today. And the Pumas, we've got average of 35.47 batting average between them. That's compared to the CPI Hotshots with a 32.89 batting average. But then also, the batting average depends on who's bowling. And these are two extremely well experienced teams with a lot of skill, a lot of talent, and on paper, the Pumas are supposed to win the CPI Hotshots. But that is not on paper. How it's going to be in reality, we'll only have to go and check. But what we can look at is the previous standing. Top of the for the is CPI Challengers with Bloomers with 58 points, and then we've got third place with 52 points. CPI Old Boys points and CPI Hotshots with points, and they are Rockers in sixth place with Buffalo Soldiers, who last minute addition into to the scene, and they haven't got any. I think we should just probably quickly. Devon du Plessis, Edouan Coetzee, Johnny du Plessis, Kyle McKay, Maas Khan, Marco van Jaarsveld, and Wilmar Esterhuizen. They are playing against the CPI Hotshots, who are derived of Clinton Diakos, Dylan Francis, Franco Pretorius, Hanko Swigelaar, Henry Venter, Johan Barnard, CP Hunt. My mistake again, sorry JP. It's JP Hunt and Werner Rembold. And if you look at the experience between these two teams. We've got the Pumas, who's got 527 matches under their belt, and they're playing against the CPI Hotshots with 67 matches under their belt, and they're playing against the CPI Hotshots with 65 matches under their belt. The first delivery. And Devon Du Plessis just knocks on it closer. You guys can see what's happening. A little bit better. Cloud cover rolling in. 28 degrees Celsius. But the players are being cooled off with a slight breeze rolling in from the. And the Pumas are batting with Devon Du Plessis now at the stumps with Marco van Jaarsveld. Devon Du Plessis, he's got 84 matches under his belt and a high score of 82. He already had hit 23 50s in his LMS career. Obviously, he did a lot more if we include his club cricket career and other leagues that he's been playing. And we've got Clinton Diakos bowling, and he's not bowling that quickly, trying to limit the runs on the Puma side. With the previous game, we haven't seen too many sixes. It was maybe one, and there was definitely one, but the boundaries were difficult to come by. But then again, it was a Division 3 match. This is Division 1, and we can expect a lot more. We can see the players standing at the boundaries, expecting a lot of boundaries being hit from early on. We also, the change that we can see now as the batsmen are wearing helmets. So I expect the bowling to be a lot quicker as well. The early on predictions, which we can see the calculator is calculating, is the projected score to be 140. My personal feeling is that it's going to be a lot higher. With at least 20 runs more, 20 to 30 runs more. We know what these guys can do. They are big hitters. And they are batting conservatively in the beginning, finding the eye in, getting the eye in, and the ball just getting just behind the circle, was keeping it in the circle, making the fielders on the boundaries run in, tire them out, maybe a little bit cheeky. And then just for good measure. Devon Du Plessis off the mark with a 4 with his first boundary. Now he's standing on 12 runs from 6 balls. And a total of 13 runs for no wickets. Marco van Jaarsveld, on the other hand, is also a very good cricket player. He's got 47 matches under his belt for LMS cricket, but a lot more for international cricket. He's also playing for, if I am correct, he's playing for Lesotho. He has played for them for a while, but either way, his highest score is 77 for LMS cricket. And then we haven't added any of his cup cricket stats. And yeah, we can expect much from him. He's got a batting average of 56.44, which is the highest in the team. So yeah, we've got the between him and Devon du Plessis, we've got the two best batsmen opening. They can easily stand the 20 overs and put on big scores without wasting time, um, and allowing their teammates um, to have too much pressure on their shoulders. These are the two guys that make the match easier for the team. Having a solid opening, and that is what youngsters maybe can look at, is the way these two are opening a match. Playing safe shots while keeping the scoreboard ticking over. And the Pumas are on the third on the log for good reason. Not far behind Bloem Rebels, although CPI Hotshots in the first place with 72 points, 74 points, they might be a little bit out of reach before the end. But in the final matches, the points don't matter that much. It depends on whether you were able to get into the cup final or the shield final. As long as you get into that final, you are able to win the shield or the cup. And the Pumas are making plans. 23 runs sacrificed in the first 2 overs isn't something they were planning. So looks like Clinton Diagos just said, listen guys, we have to make a plan here. We've got to do something different. It's not going as we expected or what we have planned. You see fielders are being moved around. They're not going to let Marco van Jaarsveld have a field day here on the pitch. And just not far enough to run a single. Big change that we can see the difference between how the Pumas are fielding and the fields before. Is it a catch? Whoa! And that was nearly a catch. And it's a boundary of 4. That was nearly out. Just short of the ball. That was almost a beautiful catch. Man's just saying sorry guys, but it wasn't his mistake. There's only so much he can do. That would have been a major wicket to take so early on. You can take Devon du Plessis or Marco van Jaarsveld in the first 2 overs, half of the match is won. Doesn't mean that the rest of the team aren't able to hold their own either. You can see the Pumas moving all the time. The fielders are moving here and there, encouraging each other. Pumas can count their lucky stars, and they haven't lost a wicket there. And we can see that that hit home a little bit closer to home than they expected, as the ball they are hitting now, the balls aren't going even in the same direction. Probably a little bit nervous. And although um, the sheets that we received said it's Moapi is the umpire, we can see that it's not Moapi, but it looks more like Yopi and Chantel. Yopi being a very experienced umpire, Chantel doing a practical, and from our point of view, it was the second. It's now the second match that she's umpiring, and she did very well in the previous game. She had obviously passed the test. There is space for more umpires at LMS Cricket. As you can see, Yopi, one of the umpires, or the current assisting umpire, he played in the match just before this one. So many of these umpires are players themselves. And then we get some of them who are commentators as well. You can see JP Hunt going back for another delivery. JP Hunt, a pretty good batsman himself. And there was 2 runs being run from that delivery. A slight misfield causing the second run, but it's not too much of a problem. Marco van Jaarsveld facing JP Hunt. And he's just sitting away for another single, playing it safe for now. And it can most probably be because he wants to don't want Devon du Plessis to lose his rhythm in scoring runs. He scored 28 runs from 12 balls, which means he can basically retire after 50 runs and give another person a chance to come and play. But they don't want to give away wickets right now. Clinton Diakos. And safe ball, just blocked it and send it back to Clinton. Clinton again. Oh! And they decided to run it anyway. Went through for a single so that it will be Devon du Plessis now facing the ball. Seems like Joppy is giving Chantel a little bit of advice there with the scoring system. Many times I struggle with the system with updating speeds, not being as fluent as always. And it all has to do with the way different phones, how their CPU systems work. We did quite a bit of research before this match using this phone, um, looking at the specs of different phones. You see Quinton Diakos, all is just knocked off for, and they run for a single. looked at different phones, what their specs are, trying to figure out what exactly is it that makes one phone to work correctly and the others not. Another single, just keeping the scoreboard ticking over. And we see the projected score being 164 runs. As I predicted earlier, it's 140 seemed a little bit low, and 160, 170 might be more in the ballpark of what they will be scoring. Coming back to the phones that we're using, initially most of us are using, we're not going to call, we're not advertising the brands, but we use one certain brand, and then everything went well on another brand, and that is before we started looking at the specs and seeing what the problem is, why we are having technical problems with a certain type phone and CPI. Oh, and a boundary. That was a for a big hit. Just couldn't stop the ball. Bit of a breeze coming through now and it's cooling off us quickly. Yeah, it's a bit difficult to explain if you can't name the brands because we're not telling one brand is worse than another. But the end of the story is, will he make it? Yeah, it's safe in his piece. We found that the phone we are using now is not part of the second type of phone, and everything seems to be going well. So it's not so much the brand, it was maybe glitches in the app itself, because we found that the brand that I'm using right now wasn't preloaded with Google. So some of them that are more clued up on the cell phone specs, you might be able to work out which kind of phone it is. Phones that aren't coming out with Google and G Suite and all that technical stuff, you can always download not kind of a copy but a alternative that allows the Google stuff to get being used. But whatever it might be, we are glad that it is working now and we didn't have to resort to getting another phone. Just glad everything works out now and we can work now forward to improving everything that we have. And that's another big hit, is racing to the boundary. It's going to be stopped. It stopped, and that was not a 4. And we see quickly the projected score jumping up to 167. Yeah, whenever these people are getting the iron, it's going to be a lot of a different story then. The situation is going to change, and like we said, it is 28 degrees, so it's quite warm there on the field, and it's only going to get warmer. Although the peak of the day is past, it's supposed to be getting cooler, but the difference is it might be getting cooler, but they will be running a lot more. So we are not measuring atmosphere temperature, we are measuring core temperature. Hotshot's asking the field is placed according to how you need it to be. hot shots encouraging each other, and one full from this over, and a bunch of singles. So we're looking at the last 10 balls. Another ball racing to the boundary. Is it going to be a 4? No, it's not going to carry. And the Pumas are standing on 54 runs without losing any wickets after 6.3 overs. Can you hear the hot shots calling for a wicket? Whoa, and the ball is nearly taking off the head of the umpires. Almost both of them. Wonder if she's alright. Getting hit by a cricket ball hurts a lot. Well, it's good to have two umpires, although the one is doing the training while the other one is doing a practical exam. It's good to have a replacement if your umpires are getting injured. It's not happening a lot, but today that might have been one of them. Looks like the umpires are okay. Maybe just got nicked a little, and the ball is. And we see the Pumas just easing up the score. They didn't run the previous delivery when they nearly took out the umpire. Probably just out of respect for their injury. You already hear that the hot shots, they are getting thirsty, calling on the field mates on this side to bring them something to drink. And Devon du Plessis is fastly approaching his 50th, um, 50 runs. Then he has to go off, leaving Marco van Jaarsveld to carry on with another fielder. And going for two. No, they decided against the idea of running 2 runs. Knowing that that ball is going to come in quick and fast from the fielder. Have no troubles throwing the ball in hard, and they are accurate. Might be able to knock the stumps there from the boundary. And another ball racing to the boundary, but it's not going to be 4 runs. It is stopped, thrown in, and the game continues. We look at the umpires, it looks like the effect of that ball hitting them has run its course. And it's JP Hunt bowling. It's the first innings. And it's well hit. That is going to be a long four. That ball is out of the park. It's not a four, that is a six. The six was awarded. And there's more of those coming in soon. And it's champion bowling. Just blocks the ball and they go through for a single run. You can see that refreshments are arriving on the boundaries of the field. The batsmen at the stumps, they don't have that luxury at the moment. But then again, they only have to stand for 50 runs, and we can see that one of the fielders were already replaced, and that fielder was Devon. Yeah, Devon du Plessis. No. It was Devon du Plessis who has declared after his 50 runs, and Mars Khan has came on. Now he's got 71 matches underneath his belt. High score of 54, and he has hit 12 50s in his LMS career. How much he's played, must he hit in? Oh, and that's another big. He's going to be that is going to be a 4, and he's running out of the park, and that was a 4. Yes. Marscon is also a solid player with an average of 36 runs, 0.95, or a 36.95 average batting rate. So they can call on him to make sure that he's going to do his job and send a lot of runs their way. It's so nice to have somebody dependable on your side where you know he's consistently putting in the numbers, and they can do what you expect from them to do. Obviously, sometimes now and then something doesn't always go according to plan. But we can see that that Johan Barnard is calling his fielders in, not expecting boundaries from his bowling. And Joppie is calling that a wide. We can see that the projected score is jumped up to 190 runs. We will see if it remains there. We can expect maybe a drop soon, and then closer to the end of the innings, spiking up considerably. Because Marco van Jaars van Maaskan will find their rhythm, probably putting up about 20 to 30 runs each over. Each pass, no, not 20 to each over, but yeah, they will put on a pretty steady run rate. CPI Outshots not scared of putting on big totals, so they can't relax with a low total. They will need to put up a score of over 200 to consider them kind of safe, to stand a chance to score, to put on a difficult score for CPI hot shots. We've seen 2 weeks ago how they like to um, hit the ball on top of the clubhouse, which is far away from the pitch. And we can call the bowling ends on this quite safely, where we can see the bowler now on the varsity field 4 that are now bowling from the Tempe side, so we can call it the Tempe. The other side will be just behind it. You will be able to see the Shimla's rugby field, and maybe we can call that the Shimla end. So we've got a Tempe and a Shimla end, and right now the bowlers are bowling from the Tempe end, and that will be only remain like that for one more over when they change sides. You can now see the fielders are making plans. As Franco Pretorius coming up to bowl. Last over for the CPI hot shots coming from the Tempe end, and he's a spinner, so that is probably why a lot of the fielders were brought in, but not trusting Marco van Jaarsveld to just block the ball. They're going to make they prepared for balls coming running to the boundary. And that is exactly what we and that is a 4. We can also now see that fielders they are covering the boundaries now. Expecting big hits from the batsman, from Marco van Jaarsveld as well as Maaskan. Maaskan is well versed in holding his own at the stumps. And it's Marco van Jaarsveld. Oh, and just misjudged that ball. Maybe feeling a little bit more comfortable wearing a helmet. Could be a good thing or a little bit more negative. Maybe take a little bit more chances with the ball flying past your head if you know you've got the helmet on. Never been struck on the ball on the head with a ball or cricket ball wearing a helmet before, but I can imagine that he's still a little bit sore. I know Alan Donald was used to making the batsmen. He liked to rattle their cages when he just hit the head with a ball. Can't remember anybody being seriously hurt, but he made sure that the guys had to wear helmets. And it's going to be not going to be a 4. Nearly it was stopped before the boundary. Also in LMS cricket, the people can't bowl that fast because they run up to the wicket isn't that long. We'll see these cones packed out, I think it is about 10 or 12 meters, which is the maximum length a bowler is allowed to run. So the speed they can pick up in that short distance isn't that much. And A lot of batsmen are used to just changing the direction of the ball. Faster balls means more boundaries, and maybe that might be a rule that's going to change soon. Well, not soon, it could be, but it changes the dynamic of how the match is being played now. So maybe not. They've got a good thing going now. And they've reached the 10th over, changing sides. So now they're going to bowl from the Shimla end. You can see the replacement batsman waiting just beside the range of this move there. There is replacing batsman. He's standing with with a bucket of water, having something to drink while you wait. And it's Marco van Jaarsveld at the stumps, and it's opening the new end with almost with a boundary. CPI outshots are encouraging each other to keep it up. Now it's Maskan at the stumps. He's probably going to start opening up his score soon. Like just like that, and it's a straight shot. It's going to be a 6. That is a 6. Well done. That's a big one. Like we said earlier, he's no stranger to boundaries, putting in big hits. He's a tiny guy with a big shot. Oh, and nearly just nicked that one. It would have meant the end of him, but it isn't. And going for 2 runs, it will mean that Mascon will be at the hitting end at the stumps, and I'm sure that he's looking for another 6. You can see the wind knocking off the bells um, momentarily. And another ball by Johan Barnard. It's a big wicket to take. And Mascon maybe over eager to go for another 6. Um, doesn't matter. Mascon did well. Um, Getting 12 runs from 8 balls. In his eyes, he might feel a little bit disappointed. But we've got a lot of still very well talented Pumas to take his place. CPI outshots, they are having a team discussion, encouraging each other that it's only the beginning. Um, the match is far from won. The Pumas are on 98 runs losing only one wicket, and that was Marskan's wicket. And Devon du Plessis, who scored his 50, he's on the bench now. He can come in after the other players were bowled out. And Edwin Coetzee is coming to the pitch. Edwin Coetzee he's got a repertoire of 111 matches under his belt. His high score is 81, which means he's been in that situation where he was the last man standing. After hitting his 50 runs, he came back, scored more runs, and yeah, did his part. He's got 35 50s in his career, or in LMS career, and yeah, that is another solid player coming in to replace Marskan and join Marco van Jaarsveld to take this score up to 200. I'm quite aware that the projected score shows 178. Difference is we know what the Pumas can do. Maybe a little bit over optimistic, but yeah, we enjoy the match. CPI shots like it when the boundaries aren't coming through, but that's only going to be temporary. And we can see the wind is quieting down now. And, and then it's picking up again. Pumas opting for 2 runs, keeping Edwin Coetzee at the stumps. So he's got his 2 runs, he's off the mark, and he's probably waiting to hit his first boundary. I feel it's coming now. Nope. And CPI are just congratulating Franco Pretorius for a well bowled. If you can maybe hear it on the microphone, we are not too far off from the highway. So if you hear cars in the distance, that is the N1 highway coming through Bloemfontein. Bloemfontein is split in, I think, about 4, but the two significant sides is this side of the N1 and the other side of the N1, where it's suburbs on the other side of the N1 called Langenhoven. Further down the road, you'll get places like Fauna. Yeah, I'm saying not Fauna, is Palissy, the other side, and some other sub. We are at the varsity field number 4 of the Free State University. And that ball had a bit of bounce in it. A bit more speed to that ball. And I can guarantee you that Edwin Coetzee likes having a bit more speed on the ball because he's a big guy and he could club that ball way past the boundary. But he only blocks it. Maybe a little bit conservative to find his eye. Giving Marco van Jaarsveld to relax a bit because they were running a lot, putting on many runs running between the wickets. And that is something the captain of CPI Archers are quite aware of. Talking to his players all the time. Lekker boys. You can see that that projected score has dropped to 163, and it is exactly as there is another 4. It is exactly as we predicted. The score will go, or the run rate will go up high, and it will stabilize a while, um, maybe drop even, and then we can wait for around about the 16th over where we can see it spike again. Because depending on how many wickets they've got in hand, they won't hold back and they'll hit anything that comes their way. And Johan Barnard bowling. And that's one lot of speed behind that ball, but it didn't carry it to the boundary. Just enough for 2 runs. And that is a 12th over done. We see a little bit more cars around the field now with this match than the previous one. But obviously the people are looking for shade, so they won't be on this view. They're more on the side where we are shooting from. It's another ball racing to the boundary. Shall we expect more balls coming, running that way? Oh, and that ball is running along, and they're hitting it around, making sure all the fielders are awake now. And that ball is running straight down the field to for a 4. It's not going to make it. But we can see now that the ball is constantly being moved to deep extra cover and cow corner long on that area. Trying to sweep it now for a deep square leg. Didn't materialize as he's planned or pre-planned that shot. But he repeats it and he gets it right. That's one thing when a batsman pre-plan a shot and it doesn't work out as they expected. You're probably going to see that person going to try it a few more times after that until he gets it right. Then he moves on to another shot that he wants to try, especially if it's one of his favorite shots. But it worked out well for him this time, where he scored a 4 runs over there from that ball. My mistake, they've given him a 6. So, well worth it. I think it's safe to assume that there's some more coming from him that same type of shots. Because as we know, if you can hit the 6, there's nobody stopping it really. Another ball running up to long on. The majority of the ball is going to be long on and long off, and then deep square leg maybe. Actually, we'd love to see another ball being going to deep point. Love to see that shot. These players have the ability to do that. And Marco van Jaarsveld fast approaching his 50th run, which means he will be replaced by another batsman, waiting for his second chance to go in, and maybe from the 16th, 17th over, if they're losing wickets thick and fast, he'll probably come in again. And they might be thinking of picking up the pace now as well, because we can already see that the projected score has jumped from 160 something to 172. So the run rate has picked up considerably, and it's not the traditional time when it would have done so. It's just keeping the scoreboard ticking over, and whatever mistakes come on loose balls being bowled, and a wide like that, which Yoppie is indicating right now. Oh, and that's the middle stump gone. Bowled. Edwin Coetzee bowled by Henry Venter. Middle stump rattling around in the field, in the ground. Oh, what a pity. Edwin Coetzee was second wicket to fall. Marco van Jaarsveld on 49 runs, so only one more run, then he's hit his 50 limit. So let's see who's coming in now. It is Johnny du Plessis they've opted to send in. So it's Johnny du Plessis battling it now for the Pumas. And Johnny du Plessis, he's got 36 matches under his belt. He's only at 150. His high score also a 50. But he's got a average batting score of 37.12. So he's not that bad either. He's not a full-on bowler, but he can hold his own with the bat. You can see the projected score dropping again. CPI hotshots might be getting a little bit cocky, thinking, and the big hits like that is coming in, and that was only a 4 by Marco du Plessis. He's just making his 50. Running one more from a misfield, and yeah, that will be Marco van Jaarsveld on 55 runs. Is that correct? You just had 49, he didn't hit a 6. Did they run 6? It was a no ball with 3. I'm not entirely sure if that is correct, but whatever that may be, he will be replaced now with another player, and Johnny Duplessis barely got off the mark, so he's basically like a new team at the stumps. I don't see Marco van Jaarsveld walking, so maybe there's something else that's going on there. Now that is a mistake. Johnny Duplessis at the stumps. Henry Venter being congratulated for a over well bowled, and Franco Pretorius now coming up to bowl. I assume there's some confusion there with the app with Marco van Jaarsveld. A bit of good news is the clouds are getting fewer and fewer, so the possibility of rain is getting less and less. There was a concern whether some of the matches might rain out today, and there's another sweep, and that looks like it's a 4. That's another pre-planned shot by Marco van Jaarsveld. Oh, he loves that shot. I think we're going to, when we live stream these matches more, we're going to see a lot more of this kind of shots coming. We are moving in the 15th over, one ball bowled already, and you can see some action shots. You see that the rate, but the run rate has jumped from 170 to 170, now 174. A significance from especially from the 16th, 15th or the 17th over. Somehow they might be seeing their mistake on their side with Jaarsveld. Yeah, they see these changes now happening. Wilmar Esterhuizen. Wilmar has 37 under his belt of 50, and he's already had 2 he scored for LMS cricket. Probably as well the other with club cricket they playing in their career. Even action might have scored a lot more. He's got Esterhuizen average batting of 23, so not too shabby, nice. It's joining at the stumps and 7 figures. But the gates. CPI hard shots. They know they've got a job of making it. If the chance to get more wickets, the time is now. My apologies for bumping on the camera there. Seems we can't move in a little bit closer without sacrificing too much quality. And the players are looking around. That was a four. They're looking for the ball. Johnny Duplessis and Wilmar Estreisen both on 5 runs with Henry Venter bowling. Probably Henry Venter that was bowling. New bowler coming up. They're making sure that they are following the rules as each bowler only has 4 overs to bowl in a match. It is Henry Venter bowling. And the Pumas are on 139, 141 runs, losing only 2 wickets after 16.1 overs. Wilmar Estreisen already standing on 7 runs from 4 balls, projected score 174. And that is a 6, a big hit. As we expected, those boundaries are coming in and thick and fast. And Wilmar Estreisen is stamping down his authority on the CPI hotshot bowling. He's getting ready to hit big hits. You can see it's a big guy. He's got a lot of power in those arms and he can send that ball flying with ease over the boundary. He's just standing there like, send it to me, mate, I'll just knock it off. Giving Johnny Duplessis a chance, just a single. Johnny Duplessis now at the stumps. Funny how Wilmar was able to, with ease, play that shot to square leg. Deep square leg. And will that be another 6? And that's another 6. Confirmed by Yopi. It seems like the what did we call it? The Shimla end boundary is shorter than the one from the Tempe end boundary. Whether it's planned like that, doesn't know. But it seems of founding that a lot easier than the boundary. The 17th over, Henry Swigelaar bowling for CPI Arch. Only 3 overs remaining for the first. Will they be able to for another 46 runs as we predicted? You can see that projected score jumped up to 181 and we only hit the 17th over now, and that's another hit. It's just cruising to the boundary and it's just a 4. No, it's not a 4. It was stopped before it was 4 runs. Just getting a single run from that delivery. Esterhuis stumps will come next. Oh, he didn't connect that BA4. Hanko Swigelaar. Andrew Swigelaar. My mistake, sorry. Wilmar Esterhuis at the stumps. Now it's Johnny du Plessis at the stumps. Are bowling from the ship and oh, and not as he wanted. Stung him on the arm a little, on the finger. But congratulated by his teammates for well bowling, well making it Johnny du Plessis to hit that ball. By Wilmar at the stumps again. So which in danger now? Hit it straight. It is these times what we like about cricket. Game. When what you see, which reflects on how well maybe just wants to change it up a little and add that. It seems like he's been quite comfortable sending it to that end, to long on. It's probably his safe shot. Whenever the ball is a little bit loose, he'll send it over the boundary, but safe shot is sending it to long on. And Johnny does the same. Johan Barnard bowling, and it was just tipped just outside the ring, and they go through for 2 runs. You can see the projected score has dropped to 177. Maybe they feel comfortable with 170, 180 score. Barnard bowling, and that was nearly pulled, but nearly nicked that ball and nearly caught by the wicket keeper. Wilmar can count his stars, lucky that he didn't go out now. Not that he cares much, I think. But there goes the stumps. That's a, we can say it's an important stump because Wilmar is on his strike rate. He's a big guy, big hits, but he was stopped. CPI shots could be, they are very lucky now, or not just lucky, I think they are very happy now that they got rid of Wilmar. But Kyle McKay is coming up now, and there is still some more wickets in the bank, so we couldn't expect with only two overs left that they will be blocking the balls any longer. They will be only going for the big hits now. It's now or never. 165 is not going to be something they will be comfortable with. So, Kyle McKay at the stumps. He's got 136 matches under his belt, so a very experienced player. Nearly caught by bowler, by Andre, but as he didn't, he's off the mark and still running runs. He's not seeing a duck today. But Kyle McKay, not that he's never had a duck in his life, with 136 matches under his belt, he probably would have seen a few of them in his lifetime. But not everybody always gets the big numbers. And he's got an average beat rate or batting rate of 13.04. Hasn't got any 50s yet for LMS cricket. Maybe for others, but not for LMS cricket. And a high score of 44. So what will he be able to do with Johnny du Plessis in the last 1.4 overs? That hitting it straight it's not going to reach the boundary. Running for an extra run, but they safe in the pitches or the creases. Got shots scoring for Andre to keep it up like he's doing now, limiting the runs, and the Pumas have reached 170 runs. Projected score 172, and there's two more balls left. So the computer decided that it's going to take with two balls. There's only going to be 2 runs. Now that was unnecessary. Johnny du Plessis probably thought it was a misfield when it wasn't. Got his teammate run out. And Kyle might have something to say about that afterwards. They'll have a discussion. It's not going to be a nasty one where they will be fighting, but it will be saying, hey mate, let's not do this again. And that was the innings. The computer was wrong as well. The projected score was 172. They ended in 171. It's one shy of 172. We predicted around about 200. Maybe a bit way off, maybe over optimistic. What we can decide on is that it is not going to be too challenging for CPI hotshots to reach this. They will enjoy chasing that score, although they are 2 places down on the standings from the Pumas. So on paper they are not supposed to be able to reach that target. Maybe they can. They should. Sure as hell they're going to try. And this is what's going to make today exciting. Are they going to reach the target? We saw at the previous match, the first innings was a big innings, and yeah, sometimes you feel for that second team that you get emotionally attached to them getting that target, but it doesn't always happen. nice to sit here and look at the fields around you. We can see another cricket field next to this one, and that will be the varsity field, and that will be like display at the CPI hotshots are in the team are in discussion now with how the last delivery went by. So what have we seen so far? We had a great innings by the Pumas where two of the players have scored their 50s, went back, and they put up 171 runs, losing 3 wickets. Two of them was a bit silly, but who are we to judge them for enjoying themselves? Sometimes something works, sometimes it doesn't. So what? Doesn't matter as long as you enjoy the game. So sometimes, especially in this type of cricket, where they aren't career cricket players, so they will be here trying things which they enjoy. And when you play professional cricket or career cricket, you don't get that chance to always make fun or try something new, because take it as when you having a day job and you try something funny at work. You should get authorization to do that, and it's a long way to go through that process, and that limits your creativity and what you like to do. These guys don't care about that. Yes, they still want to win the game, but that's not the be all and end all. That's just who they are. They will come here to enjoy themselves. Wind is picking up nicely. You can see, look at the temperature. It hasn't dropped a degree. It's still 28 degrees Celsius. Where the height of today was 29 degrees Celsius. And the weather prediction says it's cloudy. No rain. And we thought there might be a little bit of rain when the wind picked up earlier. The cloud cover was a lot more dense earlier when it was a little bit darker, but now it opened up nicely. We still get some clouds here, but it's not as dark as it was earlier on. And we wanted to have a look what game is played here next to us. It will be a 2:15 game because all the matches are kind of on schedule, like they are supposed to be. And we had a problem a while back where they weren't on schedule all the time, but especially for live streaming, they need to be. For especially when our viewers sit at home waiting for a match, and we can imagine you got ready there with popcorn or snacks, with drinks, waiting for a match to start at maybe 2:15, and now it's not starting, and you're sitting there, and maybe a guy wants is drinking some beer, and the beer gets flat, and um, okay, it might be a little bit far-fetched, but yeah, you're sitting there, and the game starts in half an hour late, or an hour late. By the time the match starts, you're not even interested in the match anymore. But we can see the Pumas returning to the field, getting ready. Looking at Division 2, they are playing on Varsity Field 3, and we know this field next to us is Varsity Field 3. And we can see that the 2:15 game, no, they haven't got a 2:15 game. Maybe it's one of the Division 3 games that's playing their match over there. Not exactly sure. Not showing on the LMS app, but it doesn't matter. To do with this match, now we've got the spreading over the field, taking the field now with the CPI hot. And if you're going to have a look at this, it's about to bat in the second innings. We've got Clinton Diakos, Dylan Francis, Franco Pretorius, Hanko Swigelaar, Henry Venter, Johan Barnard, JP Hunt, and Werner Rembel. Between them, they've got 665 matches under their belt, which is more than 100 than the Pumas. So they've got experience in bucket loads on their side. Although they are lower on the standings than the Pumas. So on paper, they've got experience on their side, but the batting average is lower than the Pumas. Depends on what's going to happen now, how they feel, how they are rested, how everything plays out. This is what we're going to see. And the CPI battle gear on, going to the stump. Sluggish. If the batting is going. And the first bowler is going to come from the Tempe end. And the first ones to bat is Clinton Diakos and Franco Pretorius. Like we said earlier, Clinton Diakos, he's got 147 matches under his belt, high score of 70, and he's hit 24 50s for LMS cricket. And Franco Pretorius, he's got 36 matches on his belt, and the game has started. And Clinton Diakos is off the mark. Franco Pretorius with 36 matches under his belt, and his high score of 54 and 950s. Franco Pretorius has a average high score of average batting rate of 46.26. So we can expect a little bit more from him than the more experienced Clinton Diakos. who's got a 34.61 batting average. Clinton Diago's obviously a more rounded player where his bowling averages count towards his professionalism as well. The batsman saying now that he's good now. Maybe just hitting about a bit of nerves. Ball being played straight. Played straight to long on. It's a left field, lefty, so it's long off. And that one was into deep cover. I apologize if I get you confused about the placements on the cricket field, but it's my way of learning them, repeating them all the time, the shots and everything. My job here is not to be the cricket expert. I am more of a storyteller, and that is why I tend to tell you more than what you are able to see on your screen. Because I am in the fortunate situation where what I can see here, what you can't. And having this scoreboard on, you can probably see what you want to see. You can look at the app where you can see the stats. You can go and look at every individual player's stats. All that, everything you can go and look up and see while they are playing. But what you can't do is see wherever this camera is not showing. And that is where I come in. You can see Johnny Du Plessis blocking our view here quite slightly. We will move here soon if he doesn't move. We not want to restrict his job on the field. But this is how we can get a close-up shot of what he does on the field. We really get to see what they are doing close-up. This is what Johnny Du Plessis looks like. And if he had a coach, you can now see how he's, even if he was in school, obviously he was in school, but if he played cricket in school, his coach can now see how his investment time into Johnny is paying off now. CPI hot shots, moving the ball around, just allowing the scoreboard to tick over, not getting too many runs, starting off with a bang like the Pumas did. They need 160 runs from 90 balls. And they're not going to reach that with ones and twos. They will need a lot of boundaries, but it's early in the game. They still need to find the eye on the ball, and none of the two players on the field now have reached double digits. question is, are they discouraged by the 171 score they should reach? Like I told before, I'm a lot of into psychology. That's a hurdle hotshots has to overcome. Um, they'll know if they can reach 171 against Pumas. Even if they don't, and if they can dream it, they can do it. If they don't have that dream, they're going to keep looking sluggish on what plan they have. But we can only expect that that is not sluggishness from motivated now. It is more it's safe, and we can say that with confidence because these guys have the experience of being in this situation multiple times. Ball running to the boundary, and you can see the field is changing because Johnny Duplessis was here in front of us. And he was bowling, so he is coming back now, and the next bowler is up. Will Johnny Duplessis block our shot again? If he does, we'll just move it along. So that was Wilmer Esterhuizen that was standing with us. Little by little, we starting to get to know the people. Wilmer Esterhuizen won with those big shots earlier on. And now he's adding his talent with his bowling skills. That was not a four. Race to a boundary, but CPI shots are playing it safe. See if we can get rid of that fuzzy look, but it seems like it is only because we zoomed in further than what our hardware is capable of. Maybe it looks in, blessing us with their presence, telling us, hello guys, enjoy. We're just having a flyby. Acting like Tom Cruise. Just cruising by, having a flyby. But like in Top Gun movie, we're not going to be mad about it. Just saying hi and bye. Wilmar is returning, which means Johnny Duplessis is bowling now, and we don't see many boundaries coming from the CPI shots. They're quite comfortable hitting those ones and twos. And how long will it be until they feel comfortable going for the boundaries? Like we can see they just knocked it off so that they can run a single. to see bowling. Wilmer encouraging him. And it's the first time they properly go for a boundary, and it is a 4. Uh, 30-0. Wilmer just coming to make sure what the score is. Unfortunately, as we have a scoreboard here next to the field, these people don't have somebody to update the scoreboard, so they don't see what the score is. And it's something we've seen lately with all the sports around Bloemfontein. I'm not exactly sure if it's the same case in other places, but scoreboards kind of, I don't know if it lost its meaning, but even club rugby, they and have a scoreboard. It's like the people are holding the scores in their heads, and but the spectators don't know what it is, and I think it makes it a little bit difficult for supporters to get excited for a score that is coming, is being close, or um, yeah, it's getting tight in the end, because they don't feel that kind of um, enthusiasm to cheer a little bit harder, to just get that their team, give it a little bit more. So they don't see a score, and they can't exactly, especially in cricket or in any other sport, stand with a phone in their hand and look at what the score is now. You as a viewer can do it because you aren't exposed to the ball which suddenly comes through the air, and especially any other match where maybe it might have been more acceptable in a sport like golf to see what your card is, but you're walking with a card in any case with you, so you've got your own card. You just can't see the other people's scores. But that doesn't matter. If we can maybe polarize our thoughts to maybe golf, we would think that you're not too much worried about the other person's game. You're more worried about your own. You do what you can do. You do your best. And the score is irrelevant. And maybe that carries to all of the other sports where people play the sport for fun or getting a day out with friends, relaxing. That the score at the end of the day isn't just something they will remember. I think you can psychologically think line. You're going to remember. You might remember if you had a big six, or if you had 3 or 4 sixes you hit after um, in succession. Um, you might remember that, but you most probably more remember the day that you had with your friends. And those are the things that are a little bit more um, not full cream, but they're worth more to you as a person. It's fond memories, stuff that people can't steal from you. Something you contain with you is who you are, what makes you. And it's Johnny Duplessis at voting. Is that the LBW? He's not even being called for, and no, it's just against the pads. Franco Pretorius keeps trying, just can't seem to get that ball away. Johnny Duplessis and Wilmot are quite happy with him not doing that, hitting a 4. But there aren't many of them, so they're allowed to have a boundary every now and then. But as long as the Pumas are content with singles and doubles, the Pumas will allow them their singles and doubles. Because as time goes on, that margin to correct himself is getting more difficult as they run out of balls to face. And this time the hot shots had run Wilmer Osley, sorry. Ty mam net bomskok. But maybe that is something from the umpire side. He might probably have a look over his shoulder what's going on behind him. I'm not an umpire, never have been. I don't know what the rules are, but it only makes sense to have a look at what's happening behind you, especially if you play like with a hard ball. The guys are having fun. Doesn't matter. Nobody got hurt. Clinton Diago is reaching 19 runs from 17 balls, and Franco Pretorius with 26 runs from 20 balls. Maybe they should pick up the pace. Maybe they'll get a suggestion from their captain as the next person comes in. Um, whether it's one of them reaching a 50 or um, whether one of the wickets fall. But we can see now that one of the hot shots are on their knees, taking a rest, because you can imagine how tiring it will be running all these runs. It's probably easy to work out how far a cricketer has run if you calculate the distance between the stumps and how many runs they've run and how many times they've run between the stumps. It will be easy to work out how far they've run, and then you have to match that with the guys they're running on um, while they are fielding as well, and that's a big hit. Oh, and that's a 6. Well done. That's easier than running the whole time, and it's 28 degrees Celsius. It cannot be easy running in this heat while the CPI shots, remember, they fielded in the first innings, so they were in the sun the whole day for that hour, and now they're running in it as well. While the Pumas were fielding, they had a breeze in the shade in the innings before. A bit of cloud covering, um, darkening the scene quickly. We'll probably pass over soon. And just a block, just running in it again. It's probably safer now to run the singles and the doubles. It's not going to do much about the target score reaching 118 from 60 balls. It's quite doable. It's not impossible. They've been in this situation multiple times, so they will know what strategy will work best for them. And Kyle McKay bowling. Was that is good? No, it's the ball bounced before. Yeah, did it into the ground and from there good. So it's not out. Oh, just a bit too far to run for Wilmer. Bring some coming past. You'll see them on screen for you. Being delivered and delivered to the players on the boundary. Oh, that's going to sting a little. Last over being bowled from the Tempe end. Seems like the CPI hotshots are nervous, although they said that they're all right now, but they just don't seem to get off the mark. Shot to deep cover, and we still haven't seen a six being shot straight to our end. Like we saw with the Pumas when they batted, when they've changed, and the batsman stood at the Tempe end. Multiple sixes were shot onto the Shimla end. Franco Pretorius on 33 runs, while Clinton Diakos on 25 runs. Both slightly more than the balls they have faced. And we see Clinton Diakos limping a little. Is he either tired or has he hurt himself? Has the ball knocked him on his ankle? They call him Infana, so maybe that is Franco. Yes, he was. The ball stung a little. Yeah, that looks like Franco Pretorius. nice to see in this kind of cricket is because all the players know each other so well. They even the opposite team is concerned with Franco, uh, where in normal circumstances you would have been bothered, but they are all friends. They mix and match players between teams like you won't believe it, and that is because they can. They can play with other teams. They play in more than one team, play more than one game in a day, and just because they love the game, they enjoy being with their mates. And sometimes maybe they get a bit over enthusiastic or maybe too motivated to win a match. We probably can't get too motivated, but putting a two in front of anything is not good. And then it might come out as a fight or resemble a fight when everything doesn't go according to plan. Although cricket is a gentleman's sport, they might get a bit emotional about something, and I'm not meaning crying about it. And they won't fight physically, but they will exchange some words to each other and intimidate each other. But afterwards, they'll have a beer together and be friends once again. Okay, so maybe it was only the view that we had that was a bit messed up, but everything is back to normal, and we go. Okay, we've got Clinton Diakos at the stumps, together with Franco Pretorius. Franco Pretorius on 35 runs and Clinton Diakos on 27. Mascon bowling, and we know that he's very accurate with his bowling, and yeah, we can only hope that he's going to do his best, and we're not siding with the CPI hard shots. We're not. Neither are we siding with the Pumas. Doesn't matter who wins as long as we see good cricket, and we know Mascon brings it. We are in the 11th over. 107 runs are required to win this match from 45 balls. That's a bit difficult. It's going to be a bit difficult to do. Not impossible, but we've had Clinton Diakos and Franco Pretorius from the start of the match. Neither of them have reached their 50, and the balls are running out. The overs are, yeah, the overs are running out, and there's no runs coming. An interesting shot by, I think it's probably it's Clinton Diakos. We've seen him playing that shot multiple times, and we can now see that they are opening up. They're going to go for those boundaries, not finding them yet, probably because they haven't tried them as much during the match so far. But yeah, hopefully they'll be able to put some excitement into this match by changing their pace. A typical, yeah, it's a sweeper shot, and but didn't find the boundary. Clinton at the stumps, and Devon Du Plessis is not going to make it easy for him. But that's a high ball, and is it a boundary? We will see now. Looks like it's not. It is. It is a 4. CPI orchards will definitely need a lot more of those. Another interesting ball, interesting shot, obviously by Clinton. Either probably a bit of frustration setting in now, or being a little bit of irritation, trying it, some interesting shots out now, non-traditional shots. Obviously he wants to mix something up now, and he's doing it with the best way he knows how, and that is playing the cricket he loves, and that is being creative with shots. Nobody can punish him for that. So let's see what Khan can do to spice up the game. We can only hope that CPI hotshots can get control of this game, because it seems to be running away from them. Um, they already, they nearly have to score 2 runs from every ball just to be in contention for to win this game. We can only hope. Khan bowling, and ball nearly taking off Franco's head, and it's not even a 4. Khan. And we see Franco limping again. Probably not healed yet from that ball that knocked on his ankle. Clinton the and Franco Pretoria. Only 7 overs left. To score 93 runs. Uh, yeah, that's round roughly from every ball. Let's see, bowling from the Shimla end. Ball is knocked back to my mistake. Long on. Oh, and that was dug out of the ground, nearly hitting Clinton's stumps. And the misfield doesn't result in another run. We know that Franco's foot isn't completely healed yet, limping with every run. So yeah, they're probably going to have to beat boundaries now in any case. And we see that Franco knocked over his own stumps. Could be intentional, being in too much pain now, because we see he's limping off the field. Let's just pan to him. You can see he's hurting. And he's being replaced by Johan Barnard. Maybe that is a thing we needed for the game to be spiced up. And Johan Barnard is he's got a repertoire of 41 matches under his belt. He's hit 550, so his high score is 53, and an average batting of around 42. So maybe he can pull the rabbit out of the hat here and maybe give Clinton what he needs by adding a pace that hasn't been seen for a long time and get some action back into this game. You can see the previous ball that was bowled by Devon that was bowled. That is probably how it will be projected if somebody knocks over his own stumps. But Franco seems to be in a lot of pain. "82 for the loss of 1 wicket after 14 overs. Clinton Diakos on 40 from 37 balls. Johan Barnard, who just came in, he's off the mark with 1 run from 1 ball. And Duncan Bolton, the last minute replacement into the Pumas team, and bowling. That was it was a good shot, but it didn't reach the boundary. We saw the Pumas hitting a lot of sixes in that direction. It's not happening here now. We wish for it. And that is just keeping the scoreboard ticking over. We can only think now whether the CPI hotshots came into this innings thinking they might not be able to reach the target. Was it a lack of motivation? It's not a lack of experience, definitely. And it feels like the game is becoming stagnant. Seeing singles and doubles coming through. But then again, we also don't see the Pumas bowling the CPI hard shots out. They're not taking wickets. They aren't able to beat the CPI hard shots, taking their wickets, catching the balls. So the CPI hard shots are doing something right. It's just their run rate is very, very low. We've heard comments from the side where people are telling the CPI shots that they aren't playing a 5-day game. How they'll respond on that, we don't know. What matters is, are these guys enjoying themselves? Is this the type of game they wanted to play? We've seen in rugby, especially when the women play, sometimes they're not winning a game. Oh, and that was thrown out. Well aimed. It looks like Clinton Jacobs just keeps on running. Now there are two big guys at the stumps for the hard shots. They need 87 runs from 25 balls. It can be done. If you hit nearly every ball, you hit a 6. It can be done. Is it going to be? We're not sure. But we can only hope and see how they are going to try and do that. How are they motivated? What is their motivation like? They really win, try for one. We see Johan Barnard at the stumps with 5 runs from Werner Rembold coming in. Just keep momentum going, singles and doubles. Werner is scored, got 45 matches under his belt. He's got a high score of 69, 13 50s, and he's probably one of the batsmen in the team with an average of 0.86. If there's somebody that can, it will be him. Whoa! Stopped well by Devon du Plessis. Only if you can have some action in this game. A little bit of emotion. Somebody motivated too much to not take the ordinary as something they just have to deal with. Because just as much as we want runs coming from CPI hard shots, going for the trying to win, just as much as we want them to hit the boundaries, we also want the Pumas to take a wicket, but they aren't. Get some catches, but they don't. CPI hard shots aren't allowing them to take catches. Game is stagnant due to 50-50 both sides struggling to do what they want to do. And the ball races to the boundary again, but it won't reach it. So CPI just going for another single. Ball is wide, scored by Yopi. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what happens here, who wins not. Oh, that's a big hit. That is a definite. It's A6. It's in the furthest part of the field where that ball landed. Wow, that was a big one. And that is what these guys have in their arms. And that is what they have to offer in the rest of this match. 72 required from 16 balls. There is a bit of fight left in the CPI hot shots. Only if we have seen that sooner. But it's going to be an exciting end if they keep it up like this. Like we said earlier, it all depends on what the score. Doesn't matter. At the end of the day, when these guys go to sleep tonight, climb into their beds. Another good shot. It's not going to be a 4. It is a 4. Well done, it's coming through now. A quick 10 runs from 2 balls. I think that is going to be exciting. If they keep on like this, we're going to have an epic India now. 3 overs remaining. 68 runs from 15 balls. If they're going to do it, this is going to be an epic end for CPI hot shots. This is where legends are born. What we were trying to say earlier is it all depends on when these guys goes to bed tonight and they kiss their wife good night, and yeah, I've done everything they need to go and get ready for bed and um, to rest and get ready for work for tomorrow. When they close their eyes, do they think for themselves, did I enjoy today? Did I give my best? Did I do what I like? Or do what I love? Was it successful according to what I like? Those are the type of questions we usually ask ourselves, whether our day was worth it or not. Sometimes we are too tired to think of anything. That's quite natural. But suddenly the game changed quite different because we see 2 wickets and then a dot ball. Yeah, now it's 109 for 2. We didn't, the last 2 wickets didn't fall just now. It was a while ago. So once again, we might be having experiencing some problems. Is that the that's good? Well done, and it was good on the far end. And it's Werner Rembold walking. The one man who had put some excitement back into this game. Walking off the field, after being caught. It looks like Devin Duplessis, but could be mistaken. That's a pity. Now we've got Johan Barnard and Henry Venter at the stumps. Henry Venter, he's played 62 matches, so he's not a greenie or a newbie into the on the scene. But this is going to be close to a 4. Not if a Puma has something to say about it. Not a 4. Henry Venter has 62 matches under his belt, a high score of 62. He's hit 350s, and then he's got a 19.8 batting average. Johan Barnard has scored 10 runs from 11 balls, so that pretense of way of playing up to before he came to the field, came to the pitch, continued with he continued that style of batting. Maybe it is something they planned before the match. But coming back to what we tried to say earlier about the rugby, is sometimes they have a certain part of the play that they are working on. They know that it's not the total thing that's going to help them win the game or match, but they've got their sights set on something further in the future where they need to learn certain skills. That's another big hit. It's not going to be a 4. Sometimes they might intently put themselves under pressure just to learn how to work with pressure, because we have to remember that it's not far from LMS South African Championships. If I'm correct, not mistaken, it's around about the April month, or the month of April, where the South African LMS Championships will be. And if your team is planning to go to the South African Championships, you have to be prepared for every situation. And we saw it when the CPI challengers went to World Championships. They weren't prepared to being the top 5 or the top 10, but they managed to get there. They were surprised by every match which they won, and they came to they ended up 3rd place overall in the world. A team from Bloemfontein. Nobody takes Bloemfontein seriously, but the best people come from Bloemfontein. When you look at Rassie Erasmus, director of South African Rugby, coach of the World Championship, World Champs, Rugby Champs. We look at cricket, people like Hansie Cronje came from Bloemfontein. One of the best cricket captains of all time. And there's something these guys have that is missing in the rest of the world, and they've noticed it with the LMS cricket and the World Championships in Cape Town earlier this year. Where they've noticed is because these guys love their cricket. They came to the match just to enjoy themselves, and then good things happen to them. I am apologizing if I'm trailing off a little bit. Trying to keep something interesting. We've got Duncan Bolton, one of the last minute replacements bowling now. One of the other Puma players were injured, so he came in to play. I'm not exactly sure if he played earlier this morning, because I've seen on the team lists of the other matches that I'm pretty sure that I've seen his name popping up, but it could have been one of the matches that were cancelled due to heavy rain. The varsity field number 1 was flooded, somehow that one is too flooded and the field next to him was fine. Although we've seen when we walked here this morning that there are spots on the field which is a bit muddy, but it's not on the field, it was next to the field. So maybe that is um, why maybe the drainage on field 1 isn't that well. And that was a 4. Surprisingly, from a dead piece of play, there was who's batting now? Henry Venter was batting, and well done, Henry. Trying it once again, but it was a wide. You couldn't have done it with that one, with that delivery. And the game is nearly done. They need 46 runs from 2 balls. That is impossible. Duncan Bolton is going to end this match for us. Unfortunately, not taking a wicket, but the match is gone. Second innings is done, and the CPI Hotshots ended with 127 runs, losing 3 wickets. And compared to the Pumas, who've scored 171 runs, the CPI Hotshots weren't able to reach that target. But at least it seemed like the guys were enjoying themselves, and that is what matters. That is the day for us. Thank you very much for looking at our match. Hoping you having a great Sunday further, or the rest of your Sunday is relaxed and that you feel relaxed. Um, Hoping your week further blessed. Hoping you have a great week and a productive week, and whatever you end up with, that you go home happy tonight or go to sleep happy tonight, that it was a productive day. These guys are greeting each other, saying thank you for a match. Probably thanking that it's over. The Pumas just didn't have it in them to take out CPR shots. CPR shots were too good to be taken out. They couldn't score, but they were good enough to stand their ground and protect the wickets. You've got to give it to them. Well played, CPR shots. Now you've lost the game, but you've protected your wickets, and we can't take that away from you. They definitely